Alright, y'all. I am not happy to be reporting this. Last week, Donald Trump ordered his Treasury Secretary to halt or pause all work done by the CFPB, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. One of the things the CFPB was doing was making a new rule where medical debt could no longer be reported on credit reports. I talked about this in a past video, and I explained that this was one of the best things that Biden did on his way out, was order the CFPB to make this new rule. Well, I guess Donald Trump wants people to be in medical debt, and he wants people's financial futures to be upended simply because of a medical bill that's on their credit report. This is disturbing for many reasons. There's an article from The Guardian that articulates this pretty well. Jessica Glenza from The Guardian writes, "The Trump administration's pause on new regulations threatens reforms made to ease the burden of medical debt. Although such reforms are broadly popular, and half of Americans worry that they will be bankrupted by a major medical event, Republicans have opposed allowing the medical debt reform to move forward. The uncertainty is part of a broader upheaval in the federal government, as billionaire Elon Musk has worked to gain access to federal payment systems. Musk said in the past that he would delete the agency responsible for consumer protection, an arm of the Federal Reserve called the CFPB. The CFPB's medical debt rule was designed to protect consumers from predatory debt collectors, to protect consumer privacy, and protect consumers from the weaponization of medical debt," said Rob Weisman, a co-president of the consumer advocacy group Public Citizen. He adds, "The phenomenon of medical debt alone, let alone appearing on credit reporting, is a function solely of our completely dysfunctional, corporatized healthcare system. In the U.S., we do not have healthcare delivered as a right." An estimated 46 million Americans had medical debt on their credit report in 2020, adverse marks sent by healthcare providers to credit agencies that could ripple throughout a person's financial life. A low credit score can prevent a person from securing loans, housing, and jobs. This is exactly what I talked about in that previous video. Having medical debt on your credit report can prevent you from having a credit score high enough to secure loans, to apply for housing, to get certain jobs. There are millions of responsible Americans who cannot secure a loan for a house or for a car or get into a housing complex because their credit is low, their credit score is low from a medical bill. We are the only developed nation to have medical bankruptcy. Medical debt should not exist. And here we are on the brink of making progress in this area, and Trump comes in and axes it. What a brazen, villainous thing to do. I've mentioned in previous videos that medical debt has personally affected many people that I know, people who are close to me, who, through a series of bad luck, found themselves in over $100,000 in medical bills from emergency surgeries, ER visits, ambulance rides, and the works. And they're regular middle-class people. They can't afford that. They didn't pay it because they couldn't. And years later, those bills went to collections, which went to reporting on your credit report, and now their credit scores are doomed. And unfortunately, in 2025, having a poor credit score as an adult is a giant financial barrier for most people. And like I said, this was one of the best things that Biden did. Objectively, most Americans supported eliminating medical debt from being reported on credit reports because it would lift up millions of Americans whose credit scores are bad merely because of hospital bills or unpaid surgeries that cost 50 grand, 60 grand. If we're not going to implement single payer healthcare, then the bare fucking minimum that we should do is at least ensure that people's financial futures are not ruined because of hospital bills that they can't afford. Over 60% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck, which means that any unexpected hospital bill could put them in debt. I don't know why almost no one is talking about this. As stated in the article, over 46 million Americans have medical debt on their credit report. 46 million Americans who would have benefited from this new rule that Trump just axed. Just add this to the list of the 80 other stupid and objectively terrible things that this president has done just in his first 3 weeks. Speaking of that, check out the video below where I unpack many of the executive orders and bills that were signed in the first 2 weeks of Trump's administration.